Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2024-25 series of No One Likes Us Talkin's, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Dave Hart, Stan Godwin, and Ted Robinson.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, here's to success in delivering consistent performances, albeit in the early days of the season. It was not what we wanted against Orient. We looked good at Hull, but a roller coaster start has caused fans to be concerned about our management and playing staff. On the breaking news front, we are signing Liverpool left-back Callum Scanlon on loan and Cardiff City midfielder Ryan Wintnall on loan. On the downside, Tom Bradshaw looks to be sidelined for a time following coming off with a hamstring problem against Orient. Coburn from Middlesbrough on loan. And we've also signed Ivanovic from Serbia, a striking 19-year-old centre-forward. Well, there's the big news. Well, welcome one and all. Dave, what was your take on our performance at Hull?
Saturday's game away at Hull was a really hard game. Both sides had chances to score, and the finishing for the poor finishing for Millwall was the weakness in my view. But it was a hard-earned point, and one that we should have got 3, I think.
Yeah, I could agree with you on that. And that seems to be the feeling from our Ted, who I'm going to ask a different question to. Ted, the comments on X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook generally pointed to 2 issues on Tuesday night. Our lack of passion and Neil Harris's tactics. Was it the same for you?
I think any Neil Harris side that goes out and if they perform in the manner that they did on Tuesday night, everyone's surprised, because one thing Neil does pride himself on is that, and he calls it the Millwall way, going out and basically making sure that the opposition know that they're in a game. And unfortunately on Tuesday night, for Orient anyway, it looked far too simple the way that they was playing, which I think surprised us all. But look, the League Cup, if you remember rightly, last year it was awful in a game against Reading, and I think we finished losing that one about 4-0.
Yeah.
And if you look at other results within it, for some reason the Championship sides always tend to be knocked out by League One or League Two opposition. You can see Wimbledon turning over Ipswich in a penalty shootout. So these things happen. But I mean, obviously Neil, and quite rightly Millwall fans, are more concerned about the way that let's call it our squad players performed. There was a few that was certainly undercooked without any shadow of a doubt. And, it shows that, there's certain players within our squad that have to be first team players. Tanganga goes without saying, as they pointed out, Hull, we played pretty well. And in my opinion, Dave's right. We missed the chance of taking 3 points there, but we got a clean sheet. Is it a coincidence that we get a clean sheet because Tanganga's playing? Not in my opinion. He is our best defender. With him and Cooper at the back there, we were as solid as anybody else can be in this division. So, when you look at that and you compare it to Hutch and Murray Wallace, who, bless them both, have been good servants to this club, but they take a while to come back from any injuries that they have, and they both looked pretty short on Tuesday night. So, look, I say the fact that there wasn't much passion. I don't know about Neil's tactics. The one thing that gets me with Neil is that it does feel at this moment in time that we've only got one way of playing. And I don't think when you're a Championship side, you can afford to just have one way of playing. I think you need a plan A, B, C, and maybe even D. But from all that I've seen so far from Neil, there's only one way of playing, and that just makes that side of the game a bit easier for the opposition as well. But look, I fully expect a reaction on Saturday. Me, always positive, and I'm pretty sure we won't see anything like the performance against Orient on Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday.
Let's be hopeful, Ted. Let's see it happen. Stan, what impressed you about the Orient side that defeated us on Tuesday evening?
Well, I mean, I accept all what Ted says in relationship to what Millwall didn't do, and I've got no qualms about any of that. But in coming back to what Orient did, I mean, I have to say, I mean, and I said it on the night, right? They played us off the park, right? They in the first half, well, not all throughout the game. They're closing down. Their pressing was first class. If you noticed, there was times when we had the moment the ball was released out to a defender, they were closing him down, right? And then they were doing that. They were then condensing the space, you know, and there was times really when, frankly, they was out passing us. Now, you know, we're talking about a Division 1 team. Now, I'm not saying that because they're Division 1, they're rubbish. I'm not saying that at all. But, you know, they were playing a game that not a lot of people would associate Division 1 teams with playing. And there was absolutely no question about it. They were the better team and fully deserved to win the game. And because it wasn't until after the game, my grandson told me, I think they were 23rd or something, or I knew they was in Division 1, but I don't take too much notice of the table this sort of period of the season because it's just starting, isn't it? Like, you know. But no, but I mean, I tell you what, in my opinion, if Orient go on playing through the rest of the season like they played against us, I mean, some Orient fans might say, well, we may not have it so easy against other teams in their division as we did against your lot. But, I mean, if they carry on playing like that, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And there was nothing lucky about their win. They fully deserved to win the game. And frankly, they footballed us off the park.
Well, I think that's about right from my perception too. They did have a good game. A lot of their players seem to play out of their socks. And sometimes that's what happens when you take on teams above you. But which way ever you look at that, the fans are not happy. They'll have to step up to the mark when Saturday comes. Thanks for that, guys. Well, I think we'll take a break there and we'll listen to Jess Tuffield talk about G&M Motors. They're our sponsors, by the way.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned mark. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julian's here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 365 026. G&M Motors have been dear friends of the Julians family for over 4 decades now, from my dad Lenny to me, Debbie. Lions together.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I've a no one likes us talking team over Dave Hart, Stan Godwin and Ted Robinson. Now, let's hear to Ellis Barr. We got her latest picture in a new kit, so please keep us updated, Ellis.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Yeah, come on, Millwall. Thanks as always. Well, first up, let's hear from Paul Loding, Millwall Pride and Romans General Manager, and the team that successfully achieved a great sponsorship relationship with the Romans from the east of London. He has an update for us and predictions for Ted's Prediction League.
Hi, it's Paul Loding from the Millwall Romans with a quick update. Both teams were off last week for the bank holiday. Seasons are starting this Sunday. Romans are playing at home, 4:00 kickoff against East End Phoenix, and Pride have got a 5:00 kickoff over at East London Rugby Club against Soho FC. So I say seasons kick off. We've got our new kits with our new sponsor, the PR company, the Romans. So yeah, looking forward to displaying them as well at the weekend. Prediction wise, I really don't think I'm having a very good run of them at all. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. Burnley Blackpool, I'm going to say Burnley 2-0. I'm going to say Coventry Norwich, Coventry 1-0. And Millwall Sheffield Wednesday, Millwall desperate for some points. I'll say Millwall 1-0 after their shocking display in the week against Orient.
Well, thanks for that, Paul. That was scintillating, and hopefully you can get more than a 0 for this weekend's scores. Anyway, Jeff Burnige updates us on the Millwall Lionesses.
Millwall Lionesses had a very disappointing and surprising 7-0 defeat at Fulham at their Motspur Park ground on Sunday. That's their training ground, a historic venue. What the scoreline does not show, however, was that the Lionesses had to face the title favourites with no goalkeeper, as there was a late withdrawal due to family reasons. The side were equal to Fulham in the first half, and midfielder Chloe Francis did a sterling job in goal. The side made several good chances in the first half, and Francis was blameless for the first goal. But when the score went to 2-0 in the second half, the wheels came off and Lionesses conceded 4 goals in a nightmare 8-minute spell. Best leave that as the report on the game. Since then, co-manager Adam Rowland has announced his withdrawal and resignation, so Alex Russell will be managing the side solo at Maysbrook Park on Sunday when the Lionesses go to Barking FC Women. Kick-off for that game is at 2:30pm.
Well, sad news there that Adam Rowland has moved on and Alex Russell's out on his own with the Lionesses. Let's hope things can pick up and we can see the Lionesses improve in their league form sooner rather than later. Well, we're home on Saturday and host Sheffield Wednesday. They certainly sit in 16th place in the Championship with 3 points from their opening day defeat of Plymouth by scoring 4 goals with a goal reply. Losses to Sunderland and Leeds followed, but they made progress in the Carabao Cup this week, defeating Grimsby. Tough up there. As you know, with 1 point from 9, we sit in 22nd spot on goal difference. The current odds are Millwall to win is 6-4, the draw is 5-2, and the away win for Wednesday is 2-1. There's not much difference in those odds. How do we see this game going? What do we reckon? Ted, how about you? What prediction would you make and see the way the game might go?
Well, I know one thing for sure, Eamonn. We won't see a Millwall side like we did on Tuesday night. That's for sure. I can imagine what Neil had to say to them all after that performance, and I'm pretty sure they'll be itching to get that out of their system, and I'm sure we're going to see them come flying out against Sheffield Wednesday. Of course, it'll be a different side as well. Tanganga will be back in, Cooper will be back in, and with the 1 or 2 new boys floating around that you may see start, or certainly be hovering on the bench waiting and eagerly waiting their league debuts. There may even still be a couple more coming into the building as we're talking. But I genuinely believe that we will see a proper Millwall performance on Saturday, and I think that we will win 2-0. There's another clean sheet for us, and I think we might start seeing one or two people in the goals on Saturday. But yeah, 2-0 for me, Eamonn.
Well, that'll do nicely, I think. Sounds good. And I've seen a few predictions that way. Yeah, one of those things that creep into Facebook and also onto X. They reverse that and see that as a 2-0 win to Sheffield Wednesday. But that's their opinion, and you've had yours. So, what about you, Dave?
Well, Ted is very optimistic, and I must admit I am as well. Obviously, I agree with Ted. We won't see the same sort of team or performance that we did midweek. So, I'm going to say that it's going to be a 3-1 win for the Lions.
A 3-1 win for the Lions? Well, that sounds rather spectacular. I think that'll have the fans roaring, and we're scoring. So, over to you, Stan. What about your prediction?
I agree with my colleagues in that we ain't going to see a performance like against Sheffield Wednesday, like we did against Orient, because to start off with, if we started playing like that against them, we'd be more than 1-0 down at half time, I tell you. Right, but anyway, I don't envisage that happening. So no, it'd be a hard game. I mean, it's not a case of we just got to rock up there and 3 points are in the bag. We're gonna have to work hard for it. But no, I think we can win the game by 2-0.
2-0, so it's all very positive.
Yeah,
2-0s, 3-1s, 2-0s. Was you going to say something, Dave?
Yeah, can't have the same score as Ted.
You can't have the same score as Ted, then.
Oh, right, okay. So have I got to give the different score then?
Well, it sounds like it, because you can't have the same score as Ted, Dave.
Well, just to explain it, the host and the panel members can't have the same score.
There you go.
All right, so I've got to do a different score, is that right?
Yeah, well, that's what he said, I think.
Right, okay, 3-2 to Millwall.
3-2 to Millwall. Well, I'm going to go for 5-1 then, for me, if we can't.
Well, I'm going to watch Eamonn's game.
Yeah, you better come and watch mine.
Yeah, I'll see next year, Steve.
Yeah, 5-1 will do me. And I'll tell you what, don't be amazed if we get it, because our team is actually on fire. Anyhow, on to the next part of this, of Ted's predictions. I need your predictions for Burnley v Blackburn. And Ted, you predicted?
I went with 2-1, Eamon. That was before I found out that they're very interested, Burnley, in Zion Fleming, off the press, that they made a bid for him evidently. So he may be part of their team. You don't know. I mean, Neil was hoping that he'd be part of us this week, but it could be that he's on his way, Zion. And but I'll stick with that. It's going to be a tough derby game there with them two. But I fancy Burnley to turn over Blackburn 2-1. Right. And what was your Coventry versus Norwich prediction? Coventry, I think, two very similar sides, and I can't split them as it goes. Although Norwich haven't started great, but and I do like Coventry from last season. I thought they played some good football. They've lost one or two players, but they got a couple in. But I can only see that being as a 1-1 draw. Okay. Over to you, Dave, on those two.
All right, for the Burnley-Blackburn game, I think Burnley, they're looking quite good, and Blackburn are not exactly, they've started the season quite well. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 Burnley win.
Okay, Coventry-Norwich, Dave?
Coventry-Norwich, now I think this is going to be a 2-0 for Coventry.
2-0 for Coventry. Over to you, Stan. Burnley-Blackburn.
Well, I think in terms of the Burnley-Blackburn, I think that Blackburn will win that 1-0. And regards to Coventry-Norwich, I think that will be a 1-1 draw.
But Ted's had a 1-1 draw on that. You can't have that. That's what they said.
Oh, is it? All right. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, I'll go 3-1 Coventry.
3-1 Coventry. Great change. Great turnaround there. I see that. There's a good prediction there. There's that. Right. Well, interesting summary on all of that. We've had to play the game very, very carefully because you can't give the same prediction as the rest of the team. So my predictions are for the Burnley-Blackburn is that Blackburn are going to actually win that by 2-1. And Norwich are going to get a 2-2 draw at Coventry because you can't beat a Desmond when you're facing the Sky Blues. Anyway, and my Millwall game, well, I've said that, so 5-1. What else can I say? It's going to be a fantastic, fantastic game in my eyes. Anyhow, we'll take a break now and hear from that little man, Harvey Brown.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub at the SE16 bar at Coldblow Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
That's a zippy tune for a zippy young man. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Dave Hart, Stan Godwin and Ted Robinson. Your donations will make a significant difference if you can support the Lions Food Hub. Weekday donations can be made at the Lions Centre. That's where the Millwall Community Trust live. Our guest is the leading man on Facebook's Millwall in Sicily site. He is a long-standing friend of the show and notably a long-standing friend of Ted Robinson too. Let's say a big hello to Nick Wythe.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
All right, Nick.
How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Well, that's always a bonus. I think it's fantastic that you can manage to say that you're very well. We were thinking about you in all that tremendous heat that you've had in Sicily. And how many lightning strikes did you have last night? Was it last night or the night before?
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 nights. Well, not so much locally, but certainly in the province anyway. We've had some really bad storms. But then it hasn't rained since May. And I'm not joking. So, I mean, we have, it's been almost 4 months and... when it rains, and they desperately need the water, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been raining.
You should have sent some of them lightning bolts over to us on Tuesday for that performance against Orient, Nick. We could have done with a few of them up the backsides of a couple of our players.
Yeah, absolutely disgraceful that was. Well, yeah.
Anyway, Nick,
with that. Yeah.
You've been involved as a Millwall fan for some time. How did that start?
It started 55 years ago, actually, simply because my dad, who was born and raised in London Bridge, was always a Millwall supporter. And I went to primary school in Charlton and became a Charlton supporter for some reason, primarily because my dad and mum wouldn't let me go to Millwall. And my dad wouldn't even take myself or my brother there. The language was too bad, etc., etc. And eventually what happened at Charlton played Millwall in 68 and Millwall won 4-3. I was at that game. And I was 11, I think, yeah. And anyway, I was hooked. And after that, I had a mate at school and he was allowed to go to Millwall on his own. So I used to go with him. And the rest is history. I've never supported anybody else.
It's a shame you had that period at Millwall. It sort of blots your copybook a bit, but I'm glad you were reformed. But
from birth would have been nice, but
it would have been, yeah. It's more, much more comfortable like that.
Hi, Nick, it's Ted here.
Hello, Ted. How are you?
All right, mate. I sympathise with you because my mother's side of the family are Charlton fans, and I was half dragged there after I'd been to Millwall with my dad. That was, I was never going to be a Charlton fan, but
No.
I'm pleased that you see the light at the end of the day, mate.
I have seen the light, and it's not even that Charlton are my second team, because I always hope they lose, to be honest with you. So
that's exactly. They go right down the pecking order after a season or two, mate.
Yeah.
It was quite nice to have the family. Well, I've had the sign over them for, well, as you know, quite a long while now. So it's brilliant. But listen, I mean, when Neil came back at the end, towards the end of last season, and had a terrific run of results and turned it around for us, which was brilliant. But obviously, it hasn't started perhaps as well as he would have liked. Although this time of year is always a bit dodgy with the transfers, and we're not really into it, in my opinion, until you get the transfer window out of the way and the team's there. But what do you reckon, mate? How do you think we're going to fare this year?
Well, I've got some concerns at the moment, to be honest with you. I mean, going back to last season, I mean, Harris, new manager bounce and everything. And of course, he's got the benefit of being an ex-Millwall player, and he knows what Millwall's all about. And I think he just went in there, kicked a few people up the backside, got them playing aggressively, and pulled the team together after Edwards' tippity-tap type of football. And just really converted Millwall back to how he perceived they should play. And they picked up enough points. And ultimately, they finished mid-table, didn't they? I mean, the team he started with this season is basically the same team he ended up with last year. So, I mean, the problem that I've got with Harris is that he tends to play this hoofball, which is, you know, if you've got two big centre forwards like Sheringham or Cascarino or Steve Morrison, it might be all right. But, I mean, it's not all right when you've got someone like Bradshaw up there. So, I mean, you know, I'm a bit concerned about the short and long term of it. I mean, they were unlucky against Watford, you could say, and they could have picked up a point at Hull and so on and so on. Absolutely shocking performance on Tuesday night at home to Orient. Yes, he played a reserve team, if you like, but these players, you know, they're fighting for their places to start, some of them. So you would think that something's going wrong there. I mean, I don't know what he's doing on the training pitch. And he was saying after the game, if I remember correctly, that some of the players have been knocking on his door asking to be played. And when I read his comments thoroughly, I mean, he must be singling out Imaku and Honeyman, I think, because everybody else he's played in previous games. So I'm a bit concerned about the long-termness of it all, because he doesn't seem to have the tactical understanding, I don't think, of being able to lift Millwall up. I mean, he plays the same way. When he was announced as the Millwall manager for this season, you know, I heard a rumour about a 4-4-2, and I understand he hasn't got two decent strikers there, but I mean, the way they're playing at the moment, it's just hoofball, and I don't think it's going to work. I mean, I don't think at the Championship, and it's a very, very high level, that division, compared to European leagues, I just have some concerns about his tactical way of going about playing.
The problem is, Nick, I think it's too predictable for the opposition. You know,
well, absolutely.
Said many occasions, I think certainly in the Championship, you need not only a plan A, you need a B, C and D, I think, because they're all such decent sides. And you're right, it's all right having a style of football, but you've got to have the players that can play that style.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think the problem, you know, initially when the Millwall board here, of course, nothing to do with Harris, contracted Edwards to play. I mean, he had the cream of England under-20 footballers. I mean, I understand that he didn't have that at Millwall. Harris knew how to turn that around. And I think what probably happened there was that the board, James Berylson, probably said to him, listen, if you can keep us up this season, we'll give you a year's contract and then we'll see what will happen. And on paper, I suppose that was fair. But I mean, the problem is he hasn't really diversified his tactical way of playing. I mean, we saw what happened to Gillingham where he got fired. He didn't do that well at Cardiff, and so on and so on and so on. I just think, I don't know if it's him or if it's the assistant managers that he's got. I really don't understand it. When the players that he's got and the ones that they brought in this week and last week should be good enough to be, you know, a decent Championship side. Maybe not they're going to win the division, no, but they should be able to hold their own. And they look all over the place. And Harris is often saying like he wants his teams to be able to think whilst they're playing to outsmart the opposition. But if given one direction, they're not going to be able to do that.
No. I tend to agree with you there.
And I mean, some of the players that he's got, I mean, I've got a pet hate for Wallace, for example, at left back. I don't rate Brian, and one assumes this is why this Scanlon's been brought in. And I think he's probably going to start him on Saturday. I certainly hope he does. And, Billy Mitchell's injured, but I don't rate him in either. I mean, and Fleming's injured, and I heard tonight that Burnley have made an offer for him, a loan only with no commitment to buy, which Millwall turned down. But, I mean, this team, you'd have to ask how many of them are actually good enough to play for another championship team. And that's what I always use as a yardstick. And there isn't many in that team that would, I don't think. And I think 3 or 4 players are League One level at best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Nick. It's Dave here.
Hello, Dave.
You're going to enjoy that lovely hot weather. Anyway, I'm jealous. Yeah. So, Steve Kavanagh, Billy Taylor and Alex Aldridge abruptly left the Den.
Yeah.
Do you think those leaving will impact on our season?
No, I don't think it will, actually. I mean, I think the board know what they're doing in that regard. And I think that, I don't know who rooted these people out. I mean, one would imagine it was James Berylson, who I think a lot of people are underestimating big time. I don't think he's a soft touch that a lot of people seem to think he is. I think he probably got rid of Kavanagh and the other guy, and maybe Neil Harris had, got the scouting organised after having a word with the board, and maybe that was the condition of him coming in. I don't know. But I mean, overall, I don't think that affects the running of Millwall. I mean, I think, Millwall have got scouts, they've got a head scout, they've got a northern scout, and so on and so on. I don't know if they've got any European scouts, and one would like to think so. I mean, there's a rumour going around tonight, for example, that this Ivanovic, the Serbian player, is close to signing for Millwall. So, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not because there's nothing confirmed. But what I would say is that, if Millwall are going to be spreading their load, if you like, and having European scouts and certainly giving it all a shuffle, wouldn't hurt. And with regards to Steve Kavanagh, I mean, a lot of people didn't like him. I mean, I've never met him personally, but it seemed to me that perhaps you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, there's various things that you hear about, and ultimately the board, James Berylson, got rid of him. I mean, none of them resigned, and it all happened on the same day. So I think they had a board meeting, they decided things needed a change, and off they went. So I don't think it's going to impact on the Millwall commercial side or the Millwall way of running Millwall, no.
No, good. I think Ivanovic has actually signed for us now.
Yeah.
So, is that confirmed?
Yeah.
Yes.
3 million?
Yeah. 3 million euros.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a 19-year-old, isn't it?
Hey, it's like we got all that Sky money, isn't it? Hey, gosh, spend a lot.
Yeah. Coburn as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a really good forward line, assuming he's going to play them both at the same time. I mean, I think the issue is, of course, that Langstaff is really untried at this level. And, of course, with Bradshaw injured, what made me laugh the other day, I saw a Harris quote saying that Bradshaw isn't as fast as he used to be, but he still puts a shift in. And I'm thinking, well, he shouldn't really be playing then, in all fairness. Do you know what I mean?
It's a conundrum, that one, when he said that. I just couldn't believe it myself. But just going back to one point there, Nick, just to let you know, you must have missed last week's show.
I did.
We had Brian King on. And Brian King actually spoke about his Scandinavian promises to Millwall about players. So we do have those people out there looking.
Oh, that's excellent news. I did miss it last week.
Yeah, it was a good one. Catch up with it. It's a great listen.
No, I will, definitely, yeah.
Other than that, I'll hand you over to Stan, who's baiting at his own breath.
Oh, dear. You're right.
No, don't cut the nose of him, Nick. Anyway, just one thing. You mentioned the first game you went to see was down at Charlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that. Funny enough, I was at that game at that time. Opening day of the season.
Did you run on the pitch, Dan?
And a goal down. Eh?
Did you run on the pitch?
Did what?
Did you run on the pitch?
No. But we was a goal down, weren't we, after about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And then Keith Weller, he just took control of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said many times, watching Keith Weller in full flow is like watching the conductor of the symphonic orchestra. He controlled the game and the team. But anyway, that was then. And we're
still got the program. Still got that program, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, the greatest ever player to play for Millwall. No question of that, in my view. Anyway, to the present, mate.
Yes.
Of the players that have come into the den, how would you rate them, and who do you believe will make the most significant impact? So we're talking about Tanganga, Langstaff, Kelly, Jensen, Roberts, Aziz, and we also got Scanlon and Whittle. I mean, as they've, although they're loan, but they're in anyway for the season. So
what's the Serbian's name? Dan, what's the Serbian's name? No, what's his first name, Stan?
Oh, I don't know.
Who's that?
The Serbian.
Mikhail.
I can't get my tongue round that. It's going to take a while, mate.
Mihailo. Come on.
That's Serbian for Reg.
Yeah,
the Serb.
for best for you, Mike. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
Okay.
Right. In answer to your question, I think Tanganga was the important signing for me anyway, because, I mean, he looked very good last season, and I'm very happy he's on board. Don't know much about Scanlon, of course, from Liverpool on a playing level. I'm just happy he's there because I don't rate Wallace or Bryan at all at left back. And I know McNamara can play there, but I'd rather have a proper left back there myself. This Wintle that's come in, he can't make the Cardiff first team, which of course is some concern for me. I saw that Essie signed a contract extension today. So although he's not a new player coming in, that is important, isn't it? And, the two goalkeepers, again, didn't really know much about them before they came in. But Jensen, apart from a shaky start, he looks pretty good. And, of course, Roberts played against Orient, so he's obviously going to rotate them for cup games or whatever. This Kelly, I don't know anything about him, but he's highly thought of. So I'm looking for him to possibly towards the end of the season sort of establish himself. But I don't think he's going to do an awful lot short term. I mean, he's only 18, and it's a big move for him, isn't it? Langstaff, well, again, you see the reel on the YouTube or whatever, been banging goals in. He looks pretty decent, but then so did Nisbet, didn't he? And on the basis that we signed him, and so on and so on. This new guy that we're talking about, this Ivanovic, if I've pronounced that correctly. Well, I mean, it looks promising, doesn't it? If he's come in, and I'd like to see him doing something. When you think we only really let two players go at the end of the season, and that was Bart, who retired today, I heard, and Hutchinson, who came back in again. So, I mean, he's got a decent squad there, and most of these all these players that we just mentioned, including Aziz as well, all been signed by Harris, you could argue. So it's really down to him now with that squad to do something. But I do think Tanganga was a linchpin. They did very well to get him, I think. Very well.
Yeah. I mean, in relationship to Langstaff, Nick, I mean, I don't know if you see it, but there's a paper that comes out over here when the season's on called the Football League paper.
Right.
And it's a very good paper, right? Because then the guy in the paper, the main journalist, he at the start of the season, he picked out certain players, and Langstaff was one of them.
Right.
But he made the point in there about Langstaff. He said, well, his record's good. He was quoting what Harris was saying and one thing and another. But this was the crux of the matter. He turned around and said it will be interesting to see how Langstaff will do playing in a team that's known to be direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that indicates to me that the teams he played for before were not direct.
Correct. Especially if he's left up front on his own, which is invariably what's been happening, whoever he plays up there.
Yeah. And that I agree with you. That is the trouble. The only other thing I would say in relationship to Harris is that he plays that way, and the trouble is with that is that and I said to somebody a few weeks ago when we talked about this season, each season they get tactically and technically better, and so that's going to be the problem, because as you say, you keep playing one way, you're going to get sussed out.
Well, you're going to get sussed out every single week, which is basically what's happened, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, have we got players on the pitch that can change things? I mean, in an ideal world, we do. It depends how they're being trained on the training ground, of course. But I mean, it doesn't really matter who you bring in. If he's just going to play hoofball and relying on Cooper or Tanganga to score from a corner, I mean, the writing's on the wall, isn't it?
Sadly,
No, that's
that
right, yeah.
is true.
The thing with someone like Langstaff, though, Nick, is he's got to have support. You can't play him up there on his own like Bradshaw makes the most of what he's got, but he still loses out to 2 6'2" centre halves, in the way that we play. If you get if this boy, even if it's him, I think the easiest way is just to call him the Serb. If the Serb goes up front, then Langstaff can play off of him, because that's what I believe his style of play needs. He needs someone that can be up there, mobile and physical, to take the other people away, and he'll pick the pieces up or move into the space that guy creates. So I'll throw something out there. I'd happily let Fleming go if it meant that we got Coburn, because I think that could be the key to this side becoming something.
Well, certainly Fleming didn't set the world alight last season by comparison to his first season. But I mean, he's injured, isn't he? And if Burnley aren't prepared to pay, have a deal where they're going to cough up some serious money for him, just want him on loan, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, is it?
Although I say this though, when I was watching the Orient game on the other night, right? I mean, I don't know what you think, but I didn't see too many eyeballs going down, being played down to Orient players. Most of it was all along the floor and running into space and one thing and another.
There was a lot. There was a lot of long balls as well. There was.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to call you guys to order, because otherwise we're going to run out of time.
All right.
Anyway, so lovely conversation there, Nick. Thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to hearing from you in the not too distant future. Keep warm out in Sicily. But before you leave us, we have the one and only Ted's Prediction League.
Oh, Ted, so happy that's back, mate.
It is. I bet you are. You've been.
Can I make a quick invite?
Go on then. Are you going to take him for dinner or something?
No.
Sorry, Ted. Thank you.
Could Nick? I'll more than happily come out to Sicily and take you out to dinner.
Well, I was thinking about your house Saturday night, actually.
Oh, dear. But don't go coming round here. My missus don't cook for me, let alone you, mate, I'll tell you. But can we not invite Nick to play the league every week?
Well, you could if he's up for it.
Well, I'm one assumes you're putting it on the on No One Likes Us every week, are you, the Prediction League?
No, we're not.
No, you're not.
We could invite you as a friend of the show to be a predictor for every Saturday for the remainder of the season. How would that suit you?
That would be an honour.
There you go. Ted will write to you by email and say, here's me fixtures.
Bank account.
Yeah, well, he'll probably offer you a share in that afterwards. Anyway, we'll get Ted to do that, and we'll be delighted to have you on board, because I know we had our AGM, and there he mentioned that he really was worried about you and what you would think about his lack of a prediction league. So he had to go.
He was worried about the two big lads I sent round last week. That's what he was worried about.
That's what it probably was. I know what you mean. Anyway, let's get on with this scene. So we will have our guest, host, panel, and regular reporters to give their predictions through the season. There will be a prize. So it's a surprise, as Scylla would say.
I can let you know now, Nick, it's not dinner at my house.
There you go. It's dinner at the Ritz. So there you go, Nick.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Ted. That's nice of you.
Let them come on the piano. So it's good it is. So here's Ted's predictions.
Yeah.
He reckons Burnley are going to beat Blackburn 2-1.
Right.
Coventry and Norwich are going to do a Desmond. 1-1. Sorry, 1-1. Yeah, you're not a Desmond. And Millwall 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. So, what are your predictions, Nick?
Well, I've got Burnley 2, Blackburn 1. I would agree with that.
Ooh.
I've got Coventry 1, Norwich 0 as well. And prior to half an hour ago, I would have said Millwall and Sheffield Wednesday 0-0. But being Millwall and having followed them for 55 years, I'm quite sure now they're going to surprise everybody and actually win. So I'll go for a 1-0 Millwall home win.
Well, that's fantastic, Nick. Thank you. All the best to you and all your family. Stay cool in the pool and don't be tense on the fence.
Oh, nice.
And without a doubt, you'll hear from Ted weekly with his predictions. So bye for now. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, everyone.
I should send you a prediction and menu, Nick. All right.
Yeah, well, steak is what I want, Ted. Don't worry about it.
Lovely.
Right, cheers, Nick.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers, Nick.
Bye.
Ciao,
Nick.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Nick Wythe, eh? He's always a pleasure to have on. One of our most entertaining, can I say, fans in the dugout. A lot could learn from his jollifications when he speaks to us. Anyway, we'll take a break there and listen to Bethany say, come and join us. Hey, what's that all about?
Hi, it's Bethany Magdalo. Why not come and join me as another Millwall supporting woman and become part of the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team? You can be a panellist or a host. You could even do match reporting on the radio for the first team, Millwall Lionesses, or Community Matters. The team will help you to broadcast effectively. Come and join us by emailing me at noluttalkin@gmail.com. I'll say that again. Email me on noluttalkin@gmail.com.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have No One Likes Us Talking team of Dave Hart, Stan Godwin, and Ted Robinson. Just email Bethany at, I'll say that, noluttalkin@gmail.com to discuss joining us. She'll tell you all about her experience, and hopefully you'll come and make your experience with the No One Likes Us Talking team. She looks forward to hearing from you. Well, we're all looking forward to the next game at Sheffield Wednesday. But in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans and those interested in football generally.
Next week's show will be hosted by Gary Staff with the panel of Miles Thornton, Dave Hart, and I'm afraid it's me again.
On Sunday, why not head over to the Dagenham to watch Millwall Lionesses play Barclay women in the London and South East Premier League. The game will be played at Barclay FC, Maysbrook Park Lodge Avenue, Dagenham, RM8 2JR. Kick-off is at 2:30 p.m. Why not get along, give the Lionesses the support they deserve as they strive to return to where they belong.
On Saturday, October the 12th at 11 a.m, go and join the Walk tour, exploring the areas of the Isle of Dogs where Millwall FC began its days and spent its first 25 years. This walk's guest is former Lion Paul Moody. You can get your tickets by going to eventbrite.co.uk and search for Millwall History and Heritage Tour. I have done it and it's been a great experience with knowledgeable guides.
So don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games, both home and away, for the Lions, Lionesses, Romans and Pride, and also updates on Millwall Community Matters on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, and all popular podcast sites. Thanks, Ted.
Cheers, Eamonn.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Stan.
Cheers, and thank you all for listening.
And thank you all for listening from me too. Finally, let's not forget to keep it on the streets, being safe out there. And there you go. Good night. Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.